Hey, how you doing? This is Kim Reads Urantia. Yep, first we're going to read Light the Flame by Andrew Harvey. Yeah, today is April 2nd. This selection is by Rumi. Okay, if you don't know who Rumi is, I strongly encourage you to look him up. 13th century Persian poet and mystic, one of the most inspirational poets out there, inspired poetry is by Rumi. Yes. Okay. Longing for you savages me each moment. Let the world be my killer, not you. Don't kick the man you sent sprawling in the dust. Don't kill him you made for the first time alive. Wow. Okay. So this. Okay. This is the point of okay, so we're addressing the divine here, I believe. Longing for you, even though you is not capitalized as it would be if it was typically the divine. Maybe it's not addressing the divine. I guess I'm assuming that. Okay. Longing for the divine savages me each moment. So this person longs so much for divine inspiration. The world is the killer, not the divine. Okay, so this is a confused state because, of course, we know that those are one and the same. So there's no it's one aspect of the divine is the physical. Okay, so don't kick the man you sent sprawling in the dust. Okay, and God doesn't do this. And here, this is how we know that he is addressing the divine. It says, don't kill him you made, him who you made. Don't kill your creation. Because of God, because of you, for the first time alive. Okay. So this is someone, I think, in the process of waking up, and you feel a lot of fear that you're in the presence of this awesome power, and you're vulnerable, and you're splitting. You're not seeing the whole unity. You're seeing fragments of things, and it's coming together, but it's scary. It's a scary time. If you're an ascending person and this is part of what you feel, just don't feel that you're alone or that you're the only person who's felt like this. It does all come together, and you just have to love yourself. And but yeah, ascension can be a very traumatic time when you're first coming into the presence of the divine, because you feel there's so much vulnerability. You feel so small, and before you realize fully that divine presence loves you and cares for you and can be depended on to do that, that can be hard. Yeah, mine took a long time. Oh God. All right. Took a decade. Yeah, where I was just like so bitter and just like I believed in God for a long time, but I didn't feel like God liked me. I was like always, and I couldn't equate that God is so powerful, then how is our world that we lived in such a freaking mess? It's like, he's trying to torture us. That's all he's really doing, and playing with us like we're little toys. But then, largely through this book, it came to me to realize that this is all our own adventure that we make for ourselves. It's like our playground in our school, and and it's so much bigger than this. Okay, you're whatever you're going through now, all of eternity and everything is so much bigger than whatever it is you're experiencing now, whatever suffering you're going through. And it'll all pass by. Just let it all pass by. Just let it flow over you. And then it does, and then it's gone. And then you wake up and it's like, wow, I'm still here. How am I still here? And then you realize that you are so much more than you thought you were, and more powerful and resilient and beautiful, and that is the experience, that waking up from catastrophe, that that formulates, you know, I don't know, your true experience, and how you experience that. That's who you are, and that's what draws you onward to God, to that embrace. Okay, that's a lot. Wow, for today. Okay, let's move on here. Okay, Jesus the Man, part 1 of paper 196. We're on the last paper of the book, everybody. And what's miraculous for me is I didn't plan this, I swear, but we're going to end the last section on Easter Sunday. And I didn't plan that. I didn't know that, because I started reading this one section a day back in it was close to my 50th birthday. So it must have been 2016, in the fall of 2016. And I just started reading one section a day, and I've been doing that. I haven't been doing it all online. I started doing online just a while ago, but here it winds up to me to completion. This taken me 4.5 years, and it's winding up on Easter Sunday. That's amazing to me. I think that's a powerful message, affirmation for me, that I'm doing something good. I should keep doing this, so I'm going to keep doing it. All right. And if you like, share, and subscribe, that's wonderful. But you know what? If you don't, I'm still here. And this is part of some records, some higher, these little pontification. No, it's not. These thoughts of mine are here for you and for whoever's interested. Okay, let's go. Jesus's devotion to the Father's will and the service of man was even more than mortal decision and human determination. It was a wholehearted consecration of himself to such an unreserved bestowal of love. No matter how great the fact of the sovereignty of Michael, you must not take the human Jesus away from men. The Master has ascended on high as a man, as well as God. He belongs to men. Men belong to him. How unfortunate that religion itself should be so misinterpreted as to take the human Jesus away from struggling mortals. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yes. How is that happening? Okay. So most religions think of Jesus died on the cross for our sins and this kind of stuff. And I have a strong objection to that interpretation. But I don't want to go into that right now. so that he is somehow different or set apart from normal regular people. And that's not how it was meant to come across. That he's one of us. He's here with us. He lived as one of us and breathed and hurt and felt joy and sorrow, and he cried and he laughed and he sang and he jumped and ran and ached, and you know so and worked. He did, and loved and lived and died, just like we do. Just like we do. He was in all ways, he was one of us. He wasn't set apart in this little class, in this little bubble here, that we all like put him on a pedestal. Okay, so he was here with us, but he was more than than that too. So that's just one of the mysteries, is Jesus is here to bridge the gap between human and divine. So so let's not forget that when we're striving to be like him, and when we're trying to be and do it, what would Jesus do, and all this stuff, let's not forget that he was he came here so he could be like us. He wanted to be like us. And that means everything to me. Yes. That he loved us so much that he wanted to be one of us. He wanted to know what it was that we felt and what we were. Yeah. It's like, I always think of an artist like a cartoon. I don't know, this video by Aha, where the guy goes, he's in the comic strip, and he comes out of the comic strip, and then there's a girl that looks at the comic and she goes into the comic strip, right? Okay, so there's the author of art here, and he loves this work of art that's us, these creatures that he's created, like Mel Blanc and the Looney Tunes or whatever, that he actually wants to go into that world. He comes into that world as one of these two-dimensional creatures, and lives among us as a two-dimensional person, and then is able to lead us out of this flatland comic strip into his three-dimensional world. And that's what I think of. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I've been talking a lot here. I got to read more. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. Okay, let not the discussions of the humanity or the divinity of the Christ obscure the saving truth that Jesus of Nazareth was a religious man who, by faith, achieved the knowing and the doing of the will of God. He was the most truly religious man who has ever lived on Urantia. He lived according to how he believed. He was truly religious. The time is ripe to witness the figurative resurrection of the human Jesus from his burial tomb, amidst the theological traditions and the religious dogmas of 19 centuries. 20 centuries now. No, 19. Well, it's the 21st century. Yeah. Jesus of Nazareth must not be longer sacrificed to even the splendid concept of the glorified Christ. What a transcendent service if, through this revelation, the Son of Man should be recovered from the tomb of traditional theology and be presented as the living Jesus to the church that bears his name. and to all other religions. Surely the Christian fellowship of believers will not hesitate to make such adjustments of faith and of practices of living as will enable it to follow after the Master in the demonstration of his real life of religious devotion to the doing of his Father's will and of consecration to the unselfish service of man. Do professed Christians fear the exposure of a self-sufficient and unconsecrated fellowship of social respectability and selfish economic maladjustment? Does institutional Christianity fear the possible jeopardy or even the overthrow of traditional ecclesiastical authority if the Jesus of Galilee is reinstated in the minds and souls of mortal men as the ideal of personal religious living? Indeed, the social readjustments, the economic transformations, the moral rejuvenations, and the religious revisions of Christian civilization would be drastic and revolutionary if the living religion of Jesus should suddenly supplant the theologic religion about Jesus. So this is what we're doing. This is our mission here, to recover and resurrect Jesus figuratively from the tomb of traditional theology into something new and marvelous, miraculous. This is what our mission is. This is what we're doing. And I am so reminded, I don't know, I am a huge fan of Dostoevsky. And okay, so there's the one part in Brothers Karamazov where Ivan, the character Ivan, is telling his brother about the Grand Inquisitor. And Ivan is this great intellectual, and is saying, why religion has to be kind of suppressed and all this kind of stuff. And he's telling the story about the Grand Inquisitor who witnesses here, the people come and witness the resurrection here. Well, the Christ comes back down to earth, Jesus, and everybody recognizes him and knows him, and he goes and talks to the religious leader of the time, and Christ is silent here while this Grand Inquisitor, this religious leader, tells him how, we're not ready for you to come back. You shouldn't be here. And he's telling Jesus this earthly religious leader is telling you, we have to kill you because you can't come yet. You can't do this because, you're going to wreck the church. We've worked so hard to build up this church for you, and you're going to come here and wreck it. So that's just so illuminating to me. So I don't know, that story ends in a note where, the Inquisitor is going to put Jesus on execution. I don't know if they're crucify him or whatever, but he needs to be executed. But then after the Inquisitor is done talking and explain this position to Jesus, and Jesus goes and kisses him like Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss, right? Goes up there and kisses him, and then the Inquisitor says, okay, you're he doesn't formally rescind his position that he's going to kill Jesus, but he's like, okay, you have to go, get out of here, you know what I mean, don't come back or whatever, we're not gonna support you on this, which is exactly what the Jews did, right? So, and then the whole thing comes down. But that's so illustrative. I love that. Yeah, when Jesus comes, when we exhume Jesus out of this tomb that we've built around him, the whole tomb, which is traditional faith, is gonna crash. It's gotta come crashing down. Yeah. Okay. So that's the moment where the butterfly leaves the cocoon, and then the cocoon is no longer necessary. It's garbage. It's fulfilled its purpose. It had a good purpose, but now it's garbage, and now the butterfly is free, and our faith is free. And okay, so that's this huge liberation that we're looking forward to, and I believe in. It's coming. I'm excited. See, and then I get all jumpy and everything. And okay, all right, I got to read this, okay, because we got to get going. To follow Jesus means to personally share his religious faith and to enter into the spirit of the Master's life of unselfish service for man. One of the most important things in human living is to find out what Jesus believed, to discover his ideals, and to strive for the achievement of his exalted life purpose. Of all human knowledge, that which is of greatest value is to know the religious life of Jesus and how he lived it. I'm down. Okay, the common people heard Jesus gladly, and they will again respond to the presentation of his sincere human life of consecrated religious motivation. If such truths shall again be proclaimed to the world, the people heard him gladly because he was one of them, an unpretentious layman, and the world's greatest religious teacher was indeed a layman. Okay, so there's something to this anti-intellectualism that we have. We need to elevate, because we need to elevate the lower strata of classes. And what was it? What was I going to say? I'm wondering here on a higher level if Jesus's physical body is necessary here to affect this transformation. And I'm thinking maybe not. Maybe it isn't. Okay? Maybe we can just, maybe when Jesus returns in glory, it might not be with the physical body. It might be only the people who know him, his true sheep, will see him and recognize his 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 words, or his recognize him, I guess. Okay, I'm going to keep going. It should not be the aim of kingdom believers literally to imitate the outward life of Jesus in the flesh, but rather to share his faith, to trust God as he trusted God, and to believe in men as he believed in men. Jesus never argued about either the fatherhood of God or the brotherhood of men. He was a living illustration of the one and a profound demonstration of the other. He was a living illustration of the fatherhood of God, and he was a profound demonstration of the brotherhood of men. Just as men must progress from the consciousness of the human to the realization of the divine, so did Jesus ascend from the nature of God. No, I read that wrong. Just as men must progress from the consciousness of the human to the realization of the divine, so did Jesus ascend from the nature of man to the consciousness of the nature of God. So, yep, because when he first came, he didn't know who he was. And the Master made this great ascent from the human to the divine by the conjoint achievement of the faith of his mortal intellect and the acts of his indwelling adjuster. The factualization of the attainment of totality of divinity, all the while fully conscious of the reality of humanity, was attended by 7 stages of faith consciousness of progressive divination. Divinization, not divination. Divination means telling the future. Divinization, which means becoming divine. These stages of progressive self-realization were marked off by the following extraordinary events in the Master's bestowal experience. 1. The arrival of the thought adjuster. 2, the message of Emmanuel, who appeared to him at Jerusalem when he was about 12 years old. The manifestations attendant upon his baptism. The experiences on the Mount of Transfiguration. 5, the Urantia resurrection. 6, the Spirit ascension. And 7, the final embrace of the Paradise Father, conferring unlimited sovereignty of his universe. Yay! Victory! Okay, that's good. I feel really good. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for being with me, and have a really good day. Bye.